The only people that I know who aren't are people who are unhappy in life and been a big disappointment to them.
He was the strongest man on television, a giant who survived war, fame, and the wild frontier of Hollywood. But in the end, it wasn't a gunfight or a horse that brought him down. It was something no one saw coming. Dan Blocker seemed untouchable. As Hos Cartwright, he wasn't just a character. He was the emotional heartbeat of America's most beloved Western. Towering at 6 feet 4 inches, weighing over 300 pounds, he looked like a legend carved out of the frontier itself. But what made audiences fall in love wasn't his size. At the height of his success on Bonanza, it was his softness, his kindness, the way he made strength look gentle. Off-screen, Blocker was nothing like the slow-talking ranch hand he played. He held a master's degree in dramatic arts. He had been a schoolteacher, a decorated veteran of the Korean War, a deeply thoughtful man who hated violence despite starring in a show built on shootouts. Fame never impressed him. In fact, it made him uncomfortable. While other stars chased Hollywood glamour, Dan and his wife, Dolphia, chose something radically different: privacy. They lived modestly. They avoided parties. Eventually, they moved their family to Lugano, Switzerland, craving anonymity over applause. In southern Switzerland, where Bonanza aired only in German, Dan could walk down the street as just another father, not Hos Cartwright. And that was the life he treasured most. By 1972, Bonanza was a television institution. Dan returned to America to film another season. But something felt off. He was tired, drained. Doctors recommended a routine gallbladder surgery, one of the most common procedures in the country. There was no sense of danger, no ominous warning. The surgery appeared successful. Then, just hours after returning home, everything changed. Dan suddenly struggled to breathe. He was rushed back to the hospital. A blood clot, a pulmonary embolism, had traveled to his lungs. Within hours, the man millions saw as indestructible was gone. He was just 43 years old. The shock was immediate and overwhelming. His co-stars, including Michael Landon and Lorne Greene, were devastated. The show itself would never feel the same. For the first time in its history, Bonanza addressed the death of Hos directly, because pretending he could be replaced felt impossible. But perhaps the quietest heartbreak belonged to Dolphia. She could have stepped forward, given interviews, shared stories, kept his legend alive in headlines. Instead, she disappeared from public view entirely. No tell-all books, no media tours, no attempts to hold onto borrowed fame. She chose dignity. She chose privacy. She chose to raise their 4 children away from cameras and curiosity, exactly the way Dan would have wanted. In the end, Dan Blocker's life mirrored the very real life he was one too. And when he was gone, the silence he left, philosophy he quietly lived by: show kindness while you can, because we only pass this way once. He played a gentle giant on television. Left behind was louder than any gunshot ever fired on the Ponderosa.